What's up, guys? It's Erica with Not Your Average EDC. Tonight we are sharpening the Emerson Mini A100. This is the po' boy conversion that I've been testing. It definitely needs a fresh edge. It's been pretty beat up so far this week. So I'm gonna record the whole process and I'll show you real quick what I'm gonna be using, then we'll just get into it. So we have a Coarse DMT stone. This is like a tiny one that I got from a friend. This is like so hard to work with because it's tiny, but it's all I have right now until I get a bigger 6-inch version. So we'll just go with it. This is the DC4 stone, which is a little bit of a finer diamond stone and then a ceramic stone on the back. And then just to finish it off, I'm probably not going to polish the edge today, but we do have a strop with the gunny juice on it, and it's the 0.5 micron. Can you like not be a savage on the table? So that's the progression we'll go through, and let's see, we'll look at the edge real quick beforehand so that we can compare it to after, just to make sure that we're making some progress. So knife, paper. All right, so it doesn't even want to really cut. Oh, we got a little bit of a start there. Okay, there we go. We're just kind of ripping through it. So not a very clean cut, definitely some issues, and it has a good amount of nicks in it from like here up. We'll see what it looks like after. So let me re-angle this here, get down to the good stuff. I'll be using this as like a platform to hold the stone because it's so tiny and I need something to kind of raise it up here. Okay, so because it's a V-grind chisel edge, that means we are only sharpening one side of this knife, which is the show side. So we're only sharpening this blade. We will be turning it over on occasion to deburr the other side, but we won't be putting an edge or a micro bevel on this side. We will only be sharpening the logo side. So we're gonna start by putting our stone here, finding our angle, which is very steep on an Emerson because it's a chisel grind, and it's not like a normal edge bevel. It's very thick. So it's gonna look super steep, and that's because it is. And I like to work toward myself because I like to be able to watch the whole edge, what's happening to it. So a lot of people will end up doing this and actually working away from themselves, which there's no issue in that, doing this. I've just always found it easier for me to work toward myself so I can actually see what's going on. And this should not take very long at all to burr up because it's 154 cm. It's pretty soft and the heat treat is fairly low, so it's a very forgiving and flexible steel. And the only reason I'm starting on such a coarse stone is because I have all those nicks, so I want to just get those out. If this was just kind of like a general normal sharpening without the edge damage, I probably would have started on a finer diamond stone. This is pretty intense for 154 cm, but like I said, I need to work out all of those chips on the end. And I'm not applying any sort of pressure here, just letting the stone do the work. And we're already burred up. So what was that, maybe 10 passes? So on this side, when I do this, I can feel the metal, the steel from this side that has rolled over now onto this side. That means we're good to deburr and move on to the next stone. And somebody asked me the other day why I like chisel grinds, because a lot of people don't. I like them because they're super, super tough. If you think about it, when you have both sides of a blade ground with an edge, you are losing a little bit of stability. When you have a V grind with a chisel edge, there is a lot of steel backing up the blade on this side and backing up the edge in particular. So having only one side ground, it's not going to be the best slicer, but it will be a decent cutter. It will give you edge retention and toughness for sure, because it really is backed up and stabilized. So if you're the type of person that uses your knife for something aside from slicing, and you're doing cutting and poking and prying and stabbing and all that, use your shit stuff, this is a fantastic edge to work with. Chisel edges, really cool. Let's get back to business. Okay, so we have our burr on the opposite side. So all we're gonna do is remove the dog off of the bench again and knock the burr off of the other side very gently. So just 1 or 2 passes on that side with no edge. We're just gonna gently, like literally so gently, bring that burr off, because we don't wanna break anything. We don't wanna damage the edge that we created. So all we're doing is just very gently, once or twice, just letting that stone kind of remove that burr that we made. And then you wanna feel to make sure it's actually gone. So I can feel up here, we still have a little bit of that burr. So I'm just gonna try to get that off there. Okay, now it's gone. So the burr has been removed from here. Now we're going to move on to our finer DMT stone. So like I said before, this is a bunch of tiny little diamonds. That side is ceramic. We're gonna do the same thing that we did in the first place. And we are looking to create a burr again with this diamond stone. However, once we go to the ceramic side, we're not going to be looking to burr. And the reason we're not going to try to create a burr on that ceramic side is because it's not really necessary. We've already worked our edge. We've already gotten the nicks and chips out. And the ceramic side will kind of just be refining that edge, removing any last burrs, making it nice and crisp and clean. These coarser stones are really doing the hard work here. Once we get an edge that we can work with, we don't have to keep messing around with the steel and removing metal. We kind of want to keep that, and every time that you apex and take the burr off and apex and take the burr off, etc., you are losing steel each time. So if we can avoid that by just deburring on the coarser stones, get a nice good edge, and then kind of like clean up that scratch pattern with the ceramic and not keep, working a burr over, that's what I aim for. So I do have a burr again. I'm going to do just a few passes because right down in this area, the burr isn't as strong, so I'm just going to work that a few times. Hey Zadie, can you chill? And yeah, this looks really good so far. The scratch pattern is super even. That's another thing that you want to pay attention to when you're sharpening. You want to look at your edge. Oh my God, the dog is pissing on the floor. This is like a literal nightmare. Let's do a vlog real quick because we're just at that time. So Kane is upset that I wouldn't let him out, so he just peed on the floor while he was looking at me, so that's great. Out they go. Welcome to Erica's life, where it's controlled by dogs. It's really nice. All right. While he's outside, I'm going to try to finish this because he is a literal psychopath. Okay. So, where are we? Hi. One thing to pay attention to is your scratch pattern and your edge bevel. So every few passes, especially if you're learning how to sharpen, you really want to pay attention to what your edge is looking like, because if your angle is off, sometimes you can bring your edge up too high, sometimes you can be doing it too low and not capturing the full bevel. It's really important to look at your edge when you're learning, and even when you're not. Every few passes, and just make sure that you're hitting all the right contact points, you're not rolling, you're not blunting your edge. You just want to really pay attention to it and make sure it looks nice and even, because if it's not, your knife isn't going to work. And sometimes you might get to the final step, polish the edge up, and it looks beautiful, but you rolled it at one point, and although it looks pretty, it's not actually going to cut. So super important to pay attention to that edge and your scratch pattern as you go. Let's get back down here. Okay, so we're going to do a few more passes with this, and I'm kind of primarily focusing on this area here because that is what doesn't have as strong of a burr as everything else. Okay, that feels much better. So, again, we're going to flip it over here and just very gently take that burr off. Not using any weight at all, just the weight of the knife to knock it off. Perfect. Okay, so we are all done with our hard work of this process. Now we're going to go to the ceramic side, and we're going to try to clean up the scratch pattern a little bit, make it nice and refined, and hopefully by the time that we get to the strop, we can kind of repolish the edge again, because it looked really nice in the beginning before we scratched it all up with the process. So if we can get back to that, that'd be super cool. And I don't normally like polished edges. I'm just messing around with them lately for testing purposes. Okay, so already the edge, those scratches that we had created, they're getting smaller, which is really good. That's exactly what we're looking for. We're just looking to not create a burr, but just very gently try to reduce how engraved that edge is from those diamonds earlier, because now we're on to ceramic. Why won't you focus? I don't know if you guys can see, the light is kind of reflecting off of there. That's what we want. That feels really good. So we don't have a burr on that side, but we do have an edge that looks really good on this side, and it feels good too. So when I do this, I can feel it's bitey. It feels really good. That is what we're looking for. So the final step will be the strop with the gunny juice on it. There's definitely a few ways you can do this. The way that I do it is called trailing, so I actually start with the tip of the knife and work away from myself like that. You can totally do this and bring it toward yourself. There's a whole bunch of different ways you can strop. Just make sure that you're working with the grain, not against it, because you'll cut your strop. But we're just going to trail from the very beginning of the edge and work back. That way we are smoothing that steel this way. And it should polish really nicely with that. Like I said, I don't want to do like a crazy polish or anything. I just want to get it like a nice, clean, smooth edge, because that's kind of what I'm testing right now. So we're just going to very gently trail away from ourselves, holding the same angle that we were during the sharpening. And no weight needs to be applied. It's just the weight of the knife. The sharpening stones and the strops that you use and the compound, all that good stuff, it should really be doing the work for you. You shouldn't have to put any like pressure behind anything. Ooh, that looks really good. Feels good, looks good. We'll do a few more passes, and we're going to see how it fares with cutting that paper again. And before we test on the paper, I'm just going to very gently on the opposite side smooth out any last little bits of metal that we had rolled over, any micro burrs, anything like that. We're just using the weight of the knife to kind of smooth that out. And I'm not holding any type of angle when I do this. It's literally just like laying the blade flat where this V grind is. This whole area is what is touching the strop. Okay. So let's see if this did anything at all. I need some new paper. Let's use somebody's junk mail. Because nobody cares if you're pre-qualified for Capital One. Okay, this looks nice. All right, fresh Let's see if she cuts. Oop. Try that again. There we go. So even with as thick as that is, chisel grind, all the things that people hate about Emerson's, we can indeed get it nice and sharp. And slicing paper really nicely. And you can see all of those nicks are gone. It is just clean the whole way through. Even straight cuts. Super clean. That's really nice. And it did polish up. Let's see if we can capture that. Can you see my fingers reflecting off of the edge bevel? So it's nice and polished. We might even be able to like capture some words here. Let's see if we can. Come on, lighting, work with me here. I hope you guys can see that. Yeah, so it's reflecting the words, which is a good sign. That is a nice, clean, polished edge. When it reflects stuff like that, that's good. That's some good stuff. So, as you can see, this video is, let's see, 21 minutes, including piss on the floor, annoying dogs, and a little bit of fun and games. So, literally 20 minutes to get a beautiful, polished, really nice, sharp edge on this steel. That's why I love 154, but also just Emerson's in general. They're so misrepresented. They can be smooth, they can be sharp. They're just awesome. So she's ready for a day of work tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. I know this was kind of like not super in-depth, but I'm hoping that it at least gets you guys' brains thinking about sharpening. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'll try to answer. DM me on Instagram if you want a fast answer, not your average GDC on Instagram. Other than that, I think that's it, guys. Have a great night. Go use your shit. Go sharpen your shit. And take care of yourselves. See you later.